This is the Meta 1 month overview reading for the month of December 2023. It's currently October 18th, 2023, 10:06 p.m. Eastern Time. Meta at the time of this reading is currently $316.97. Extended hours, $317. That's USD. And the shuffle file for the December reading that we're about to play was created on October 8th, 2023 at 10:26 p.m. Eastern Time. That's this video right here. The overall theme of behavior for Meta in the month of December is a sideways fluctuating rally that precedes a decline. It's crossed with a fast sudden move higher, standing out on a multi-day scale. So this should be a mixed month, and then behavior around the highest high for the month of December, a notable opportunity standing out amongst other opportunities on a 1-year chart. Behavior around the lowest low, a significant fake out, an intentional fake out or shakeout, or some sort of falsely triggered technical indicator, indicating that we go lower, but it's a trick. Instead, we turn around and we go higher. When we look at this on the 1 year, the December cluster on the 1 year, what we very likely have is the same high from October, and you can see this 1 year for 2023 for Meta has a high for October indicated in, or a highest high for the year indicated in October, and you can see right here, boom, in October highest high. We had another one in June. Looks like we just missed it. It was right on the cusp of July. Yeah, it was right on the cusp of July, so we were off by a little bit, but we got this double top here, and there should be another high here towards the earlier part of December here in the 2023 reading. So things look like they're pretty much on track. We start off with a high in the beginning of the early in the month, and then we decline. Looks like after that, you've got the tower card there. All right, so before we go any further, I just want to make sure everybody's aware the whole purpose of the channel is to transmute some of the competitive energy of the stock market into goodwill. We do that by following the rule of karma for the channel, which is every time we profit from this information, every profitable trade from this information, we should go to the resources tab of our website, Chart for Traders. 5% of the profit should be donated to one of these charities here. Just click here, donate, and 5% of the profit should be donated back to the channel at one of these links. We're going to add a Zelle link as well very, very soon. That leaves you with 90% of the money. Make sure to spend that money out of love. By doing that, guys, you're rule of karma. You're a angel investor of the channel, following the rule of karma. The universe will send it back to you tenfold for doing that, my friends. Neglect to follow through on the rule of karma, guys. The universe is going to shut you off to the flow of abundance through this channel very, very fast. So don't be that guy. Just it's 10% total. Like, I mean, give me a break. It's nothing. All right. So with that said, thanks to everybody that does go ahead and follow through on that. That's the whole purpose, is to create a better world with stock market money. On the first, we have a prominent trough that'll stand out on a 1 month scale and a big move out of that trough. On the second, a lot of price change covered here. Or excuse me, on the fourth, a lot of price change covered here. 4 possible trade opportunities here. So a day, possibly 2 day trades, or maybe a swing trade. But there's a prominent trough and a prominent peak, both highlighted here on the fourth. So we should very, very likely see a trough here. We might see a peak there, or it might be speaking of a peak here on the 6th, but a lot of price change will be covered on the 4th. There's enough price change here that you should be able to make money in both directions. So a day trade in both directions, one at a time, not at the same time, obviously. On the 5th, late morning session, we have a notable rally higher. There's an important range on a multi-day scale highlighted here on the 5th, and then on the 6th, in the midst of price swings, we go from a trough early in the day to a highest high on the 6th. And then back to on the 7th to sideways rotation, and very, very likely another lowest low, or a lowest low thus far. I think it's a lowest low thus far, and it's very sidewaysy mixed on the 8th. We may see the lowest low thus far again on the 8th, and it looks like we opened lower on the morning of the 11th. So what I would do is here on the 6th, in the midst of price swings, if we meet a highest high on the 6th, I would open up a short position and close that short position the very next day, probably towards the end of the day. But in the midst of sideways rotation, when we revisit a support level that we recently met once before, so probably support from earlier in the month right here around the 4th, probably at that trough. And this is following a very similar pattern to that of the S&P 500. So my sense is that we have a high here, a low here, and then we go back into possibly another high, a highest high, or the same high towards the end of the week there. But there's probably a significant peak at the end of the day on the 11th, a notable reversal standing out on a multi-day scale, trough at the beginning of the day, a trade opportunity midday in the midst of a sharp drop within a period of sideways rotation standing out on a 1 day chart, and then at the end of the day we have a prominent peak or crest, or possibly another high. I think probably just a prominent peak. Early in the day on the 12th, looks like we probably open lower, and there's a prominent trough there with sideways rotation along key support on the multi-day scale. And guys, before I go any further, let's take a look and see how we're doing for October thus far. This looks like a really accurate reading, guys. So we had a lowest low here on the 4th. We indicated the lowest low here on the 4th. Possibly again on the 5th. It came really close on the 5th. On the 6th, we have a significant move higher standing out on a multi-day scale. And you can see that was the sun card, boom. Taking us into a prominent peak or crest. For a lot of the readings, I had the 12th as a high. It looks like on the 3rd, I had it for the 11th or the 13th. And it ends up being on the 11th and the 12th. So pretty much nailed that, guys. If you're wondering when that reading was made, the October Meta reading was created on August 1st, 2023. The October Meta reading that called the highs and lows to the day was posted or created on August 11th, my friends. August 11th. So that's a pretty solid indication of our accuracy, guys. We run roughly a 98% average accuracy. So if you want to get the rest of the reading, guys, the way that you do that, it's a really great way to support the channel, and it's the right thing to do if you regularly use the Meta information. You go to our services, SO Meta post on our website, Tarot for Traders. Scroll down to monthly subscription, click here to order. Click on Meta, subscribe. $111 a month. Very underpriced, my friends. It's 98% average accuracy. Most of the time, it's very reliable information. Not all the time, so trade responsibly. But you're getting, in essence, the full month's report every single month. You're also getting any information that, as far as trades from a 1-year chart standpoint and a multi-year chart standpoint. In this December reading, we might talk a little bit about 2024. And if there's any price information, we'll talk about that too. We don't always get price level information, but if we do, we'll talk about that as well in the paid version. So thanks to all my supporters that go ahead and do that. To everybody else, make sure to follow that rule of karma, my friends. I'll see you guys on the next one. Blessings.